Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities in Miniatures. It's Christmas Eve in a bit, like a while if you're watching this when it first goes up, but that's beside the point. Our poor holiday white speaker Nico is just sitting around and she's got her presents and she's got nowhere to put them. So it dawned on me that, I don't have any kind of a Christmas tree. So I started thinking to myself, what could I use for a Christmas tree, but yet still somewhat pertain to the world of miniatures. And I thought, aha, we'll get a tree man. So you know what? I did just that. And I happen to have the files for a Titan Forge tree guy back from their Bloodfields Kickstarter campaign. So I thought, hey, let's give that a try. And so we did. And I don't know his name. And he was a fun, hot mess because he was right around the time that my printer started to act wrongly, for lack of a better word. So this was a single piece model, and what's funny was his entire right arm here decided not to print correctly at all. So thankfully, there were individual pieces available to build him all piecemeal if you wanted to go that route. So I ended up having to support his arm myself, and you can see there's a bit of green stuff in there that I had to use to put it all together, but it worked out okay. Unfortunately, yeah, he is a bit shiny still. It's just a unfortunate side effect of not having the greatest cleaning material. Finding, high percentage IPA alcohol out here or whatever is pretty much impossible, so we have to stick with the cheap dollar store stuff, but it does its purpose. But then I thought, you know what? That's not the most impressive looking Christmas tree for our tabletop. We need a Christmas tree of doom. So I thought to myself, you know what? I could have sworn they had a larger version of this guy, and I was right. They did. Titan Forge put out for their 9-month loyalty reward. So if you've been backing their Patreon for 9 months, you got access to what was called Doomroot. And it was kind of like this guy, except even bigger. And if you don't believe me, let me show you just his base. So I fight with chunks. So here is the pieces to make his base. It's big. It's like CD size, and it's not the straightest and it's not the greatest, but it was a challenge and a half to get all this done. This took up an entire build plate by itself, but then I thought, well, we got a cool looking base, but where's the model that goes on it? This guy's not going to fit. So then we started to try to print the model. Let me show you. So again, this is around the time my printer started to be dumb, so we got his legs all printed up, and you can see here there were all kinds of wonderful failures, and you can see a bunch of green stuff sticking out, and surprisingly, now the base does not fit 100% the way it should. It fits pretty close. It's not exactly flush, and unfortunately there was a bit of junk in there that I did not catch. And you can see here, for the most part, it does sit flat as I shake the entire table in the camera. And his legs actually do mount on it pretty well. But we're still not done. The biggest challenge for me was getting his torso printed. And for whatever reason, his arms came out flawless. They're not shiny. They're really nice and clean. I don't know what I did differently here. They were all out in the sun since we're in Southern California, and that's the easiest way to cure things. They were sitting out there for the same amount of time, but I don't know what happened there. So, funny thing, he's got these drainage holes. This is hollow. The rest of it isn't. But the nice thing is when we get his torso, when we get the torso, which I can't even fit on the screen at the moment, it works out pretty well. So it's going to hang down and you're not even going to be able to see those drainage holes. Now, speaking of drainage holes, this guy, I scrubbed him, I cured him, I cleaned him, and he was a horrible misprint to begin with. You can see all these weird lines all over his runed rocks up there. Some of them I'm thinking I might green stuff a little bit over, but I think honestly it's not going to make a huge difference in the big picture. But it was quite frustrating. This is actually my second attempt. My first attempt, I don't know if I've shown photos of it. I think I finally tossed it. It was just a mess. Something glitched or something. I don't know. That was when the screen really died, and I wasted a ton of resin. And speaking of tons of resin, this guy is going to take quite a bit. Let's zoom it out for a moment here, because it's just that big. So when we start trying to line everything up, I'll get that arm attached like so. And you can see it's going to be a pretty decent sized model. So I'm going to go grab a little bit of green stuff, and we're going to attempt to patch that spot up the middle. Attempt being the key word there. And I don't know, we'll see about maybe playing around with some of those spots. I don't think it's going to make a huge difference, to be honest. I really don't think it's going to make a big difference. So maybe I'll just go with it as is. So give me a sec, and we'll put our Christmas tree of doom all together here, and we'll see how that turns out. All right, we got our doom root done. Oh wait, no, that's not him. That's the baby version. All right, so we can take a look at him real quick. You can see the details did come out pretty decent. Can't really tell where the switcheroo was on the arm. We'll take a look at him later. I did go ahead and green stuff up his base. It's nice and solid, but it isn't fully dry yet, and I did wait quite a few hours at this point. It's been almost a day since I actually started working on it, but I figure, you know what, better to be safe than sorry. We're just going to let this sit some more. We'll file it down a little bit, and then I'm going to go ahead and give it a good spray. Now, our actual doom root is quite the honkin' model, and again, you can really see here where I was having some major issues in terms of printing. If we can get that in focus. There we go. See? I didn't bother to green stuff it yet, but I'm thinking at least like this section right here, it's probably going to need it. It's pretty bad. The rock here, I figure it's good enough. The tree, it's all right. I mean, I could go and reprint it, but other than that stuff, I mean, he's okay. And I think I did a decent job of masking where the green stuff went. There actually was quite a bit on him on top as well, and you can't really notice it. And once you've got him on that base, with the Christmas tree, I might add. Christmas tree, being Christmas and all. There we go. And you can't even fit him on the screen. Okay, that's better. So, again, just to give you some size issues, placement ideas, here is our usual witch hunter friend, nestled right underneath his leg there. This is an absolutely massive piece. I think if you wanted to do some kind of Force of Nature army in Kings of War, this is going to work great. If you want to use him in lieu of some kind of a tree man for various games, yeah, I think it would work. I think if you wanted to maybe shrink this guy down a teeny tiny bit, he might actually be a good substitute for Blood Bowl. I'm thinking he's a little too wide for not the Kurnoth, the big tree dudes that the Sylvaneth have that I can't think of the names at the moment, but you guys know what I'm talking about. The big tree man. I think he's just too thick and the base is too wide, but it is an interesting option if you wanted to go that route. Or maybe if you wanted to use him in lieu of the forest lady on the giant beetle, whose name I can't think of, the deity that goes along with the Sylvaneth. Actually, and you want to have all the tree stuff, that might be an interesting way to tie the whole group together. He's just a big freaking model, and I think if you throw this down on the table, your opponents should hopefully be suitably impressed, and hopefully you will do a better printing job than me. I'm probably going to cheat and give him a nice once over with a tree bark color contrast that I have. I think it's the snakebite leather, or no, wildwood, that's what it's called. The wildwood contrast I think will be a good start, and then I'm going to work my way up. So this is going to be, I think, a fun painting job. And I do look forward to seeing what other kind of craziness we get out of Titan Forge. I was going to say, Lord of the Print also makes super ridiculous, gigantic stuff. And they actually just did a recent collaboration with them for the month of December, I believe. So if you wanted to join up while there's still a bit of December left, that might be something worth checking into, because they have their big, huge blue dragon available to Titan Forge subscribers of the Patreon. So something to think about, and hey, something to look forward to as well. And who knows what kind of craziness they're going to come up with for their 1-year anniversary. One of these days I'm going to have to print their 3-month, which was the 3-headed dragon, but that's enough for now. So as far as I know, like I've said, the only way to get this is through their Patreon subscription. Maybe you can write them. They might offer it up at some future date on My Mini Factory. I know some of the other bigger Patreons every now and then will have their exclusive rewards as, available for purchase, but I don't think they've had this guy available yet. So something to keep an eye out on and something to look forward to as well. And hopefully you all have something to look forward to under your trees tonight. With that said, this has been High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures, saying thanks for watching, and we'll see you back here soon. Enjoy your holiday time. Bye-bye.